Today's Cowboys Report is presented by Roan. We're looking at some Cowboys post-draft winners and losers. If you want to be a winner, you have to be wearing the Roan Commuter Collection. I'm rocking one of their dress shirts right now. I'll tell you all about them later on in today's show. Get 20% off your order, though, at roan.com/chatsports when you use promo code chatsports. The focus is on Cowboys post-draft winners and losers, i.e. players currently on the roster who helped themselves or maybe had themselves helped or hurt themselves with the various moves the Cowboys made. 8 picks in this year's draft, plus, of course, a bunch of undrafted free agents. We will run through 5 winners, 5 losers, players who stocks are up, stocks are down. But if you liked our 2023 NFL draft coverage, show us you did by liking today's video right now. The first winner is wide receiver Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys didn't draft a wide receiver until the 7th round. That's not exactly a big-time investment. Now, they did add Jalen Moreno-Cropper as UDFA. I like him, but that doesn't mean he's going to take over Jalen Tolbert. The Cowboys' investment at wide receiver was Brandon Cooks, and their public statements since then have been they want Jalen Tolbert to be a lot better than what he was last year and to work his way and earn his way onto the 53-man roster more consistently and be the wide receiver for this year. That means more than 2 catches and 1 flag for lining up offsides. Whether we like it or not, the Cowboys are going to give Jalen Tolbert every opportunity to prove himself this year. The Cowboys don't like giving up on draft picks. Tolbert was a 3rd-round pick. Many of us liked him coming out of South Alabama. I think he was a bit overwhelmed in year 1. Now they need more from him, or at least signs of growth in year 2. But there was no receiver taken early, giving Tolbert the inside track. So what is your confidence level? You can be honest with me. It's okay if the answer is low. What's your confidence level in Jalen Tolbert? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10, of course, on the high end. Cheating, as I'll cheat throughout today's show, several different offensive linemen stand out as winners to me because Dallas, they drafted a kid I like in Asim Richards out of North Carolina, but there was no premium draft pick invested. So there's a potential starting spot open at left guard, or at least there's a potential starting spot if and when Tyron Smith ends up getting hurt. So Matt Waletzko, Chuma Adoga, who I think will get some run at guard for the Cowboys. Matt Farniok, who could get some center guard backup reps. He's in line there. Even Josh Ball, who's now going to play guard. Those guys are still in decent shape to make the 53-man roster. Now, there's going to be some movement, I think, there. We'll see. If it is really Tyler Smith at left tackle, who's the left guard? Is it Farniok? Is it Ball? Do they try Waletzko, Adoga, Richards? If and when it's Tyler Smith the left guard, who's the left tackle whenever Tyron Smith ends up going down? I am still a bit anxious about this Cowboys offensive line. I think many of us are. That also, though, gives the young guys, the recent additions, a chance to force their way into a better spot on the roster. Who do you think is the single biggest Cowboys winner from this year's NFL draft? Go ahead and sound off for me at the pinned comment of today's video. If the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Winner number 3 is Will Grier, the quarterback. My reasoning is Dallas had made a big fuss about wanting to draft a quarterback. Then they all went a lot earlier than where I think Dallas was comfortable drafting them. I mean, Stetson Bennett went in the 4th round. Aiden O'Connell went off the board fairly early. Clayton Tune, maybe Dallas was looking in the 5th round. They were pretty much all gone by then, outside of, maybe Max Duggan. So that leaves just Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, and Will Grier on the roster. Now, I think at some point, at least for rookie minicamp, which gets started next week, or about 10 days, or ends in 10 days, I should say, the Cowboys will be bringing in somebody to throw passes. Maybe they sign one of them. But if the Cowboys had drafted a quarterback, they would have been quarterback 3. That would have forced Will Grier off the team barring injuries. Because they did not draft one, got a great chance to be quarterback 3 still. Today's show is made possible by our good friends over at Roan. If you are looking for something comfortable, breathable, flexible to wear at work or outside of work, Roan is perfect for you. The Commuter Collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Find your corner office comfort with Roan, whether that's pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos. You don't have to worry anymore about what you're actually going to wear with the Roan Commuter Collection, and you're going to look good, feel good, and play good in the process. They've got 4-way stretch technology. Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, help you smell fresh and clean all day long. And Roan is 100% machine washable, so no more worrying about the dry cleaner at all. Upgrade your closet with Roan and use code ChatSports. Save 20% off at roan.com/chatsports. That's 20% off your entire order at RHONE.com/chatsports. when you use code ChatSports. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. More offense. It is offense heavy, I suppose, here, because the Cowboys' offense or draft was defense heavy. That kind of tracks to the opposite on the loser side. Ronald Jones, next up here. The Cowboys signed him to a deal, much like Chuma Edoga, that did not guarantee him a roster spot. He is not guaranteed to make the 53. And if the Cowboys had spent a super premium draft pick on a running back, maybe Ronald Jones would have been in trouble as RB3. Deuce Vaughn, who I am a big fan of, was only a 6th-round pick. So whether Dallas carries 3 or 4 backs, there could still be room for Ronald Jones as one of the backups to Tony Pollard. Now, you still have to beat out Vaughn, Davis, Dowdle, Lipke, and I'll rank them Vaughn and Jones at the top there. But special teams still matters for these guys too. But Ronald Jones, because Dallas didn't draft a back in like the 2nd round, gives him a shot to even be the backup for Dallas that maybe wasn't going to be there had it been a premium pick. Finally, Fatties Only, baby. It lives thanks to the selection of Mazi Smith, who is quite literally a fatty in a good way. That's a positive, body positive statement because he is a run stopper. And he also offers upside, immense upside, I would argue, as a pass rusher. He's a big boy who is a rare athlete at his size. And I think we all would have felt better about the draft pick had Mazi Smith been able to fully test at the Combine / his Pro Day. The stuff we did get, which isn't the 40 that's so sexy that everyone loves, was still really good. He is a weight room freak. I think Mazi Smith will have a big impact for the Cowboys, and Fatties Only gets to ride. We will get to the losers, most of which are on defense, but if you want even more Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos, hit that sub button right now. Free videos every single day. Let's go to some of the losers, and we begin with Quinton Bohanna. This is simply a numbers game along the defensive line. The Cowboys are not going to carry probably more than 2 nose guards. That is Mazi Smith and Jonathan Hankins. So, barring injury, that puts Quinton Bohanna as nose guard number 3. And for a player that has not yet shown anything more than some okay run stopping, there's no been real splash on the defensive side of the football, and they were clearly better with Hankins last year. For me, barring injury, I don't see a way in which Bohanna makes the 53-man roster right now. Unless he breaks out in a massive way, which I hope for, of course, I think he's more practice squad this upcoming year. Who is the biggest loser, then, from the Cowboys NFL draft? It's just situation. It's not anti any player in particular. Sound off in the comment section. We're going to stick here on the defensive line, Neville Gallimore. Again, numbers game at defensive line. Gallimore has shown flashes, but he showed more flashes earlier in his career, and now he enters a massive training camp. And the Cowboys maybe weren't the most pleased with the way things were handled from Neville Gallimore last offseason, and they challenged him. That's why he played so much in the preseason. Now he's fighting for his roster life. There's going to be about 5 defensive ends on the roster, and that doesn't include 2 hybrid defensive tackles / defensive ends. Chauncey Golston, Liami Fehoko. The Cowboys like Golston. They drafted Fehoko this year. Draft picks almost always make this team. So there's 2 spots. 2 spots to your nose guards, Mazi Smith and Jonathan Hankins. Oates is going to make this team. There's 5. That would put Gallimore as defensive tackle 6 right now. And I have a tough time seeing the Cowboys carrying 11, 12 defensive linemen, which just makes me think he's going to have to really wow, and or there might be some injuries that get him on this team this year. With the money saved with the release or trade, he's got to earn it this offseason. It pains me dearly because I also love Neville Gallimore, but Jabril Cox as well, the former LSU linebacker, hasn't played much in his NFL career. Just 16 games played, 8 tackles, predominantly on special teams, and the Cowboys have linebackers ahead of him. Leighton Vander Esch, Damone Clark, I think, is ahead of him still. They drafted DeMarvion Overshown. They spent a draft pick on Devin Harper. Could they carry 5? Absolutely. Could they only carry 4 linebackers given how much they play safeties? Yes. Yes, they could. So Jabril Cox has to impress now with the draft selection of Overshown. It is not being given to him anymore. For what hopefully isn't, but could be one of the last times, everybody spam Cox out in the comment section. Flood it with hashtag Cox out. We'll cheat again. 2 corners, Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright. Those of you who have been sub for a long time know how I feel about these guys. But the numbers game is going on once again for both Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright. The Cowboys have Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore, Deron Bland. Those 3 are roster locks. Israel Mukuamu. Let's say he's a safety, right? And they'll only carry 6. Well, there's still Jordan Lewis, Kelvin Joseph, Nahshon Wright, C.J. Goodwin, and they drafted Eric Scott. And I like the Miles Brooks UDFA pickup too. The numbers don't add up here. I would bet one of these guys is moved on from in favor of the recent draft pick. And so that's how the Cowboys like to do business. Kelvin Joseph is the most obvious hot seat player in Dallas right now. The Cowboys did not like the way he handled himself in the offseason. They did not like the way he played this past year. He's in trouble. Nahshon Wright got a chance last year because they were decimated at corner, and they tried something totally different in a playoff game, so they didn't have to play Wright or Joseph. That tells you how the Cowboys feel about those 2 players. It is put up or goodbye time for both. Finally, offensively, the tight ends. That's namely, Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, Sean McEwen. The Cowboys drafted Luke Schoonmaker in the 2nd, a significant level of investment at the position. That means they're not as high on Ferguson, Hendershot, relative to Schoonmaker. They still like those guys, don't get me wrong, but it does potentially limit their impact this upcoming year, and it puts Sean McEwen now, instead of tight end 3, back to tight end 4, and I think the Cowboys really want to make Schoonmaker work. So I'm not out on the Ferg-Shot combo, but it's going to be a bit of a trickier path now moving forward.